there, and welcome to my channel. I'm Crafty Kathy, the owner and creator of Kent's Vintage Farmhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I am so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I have for you 4 Dollar Tree wood DIYs. They're really simple and beautiful and quick. I think you're going to like them, so let's jump in. We're going to start off using 36 of the tumbling tower blocks, and it's always helpful to have one of these squares. I got mine at the Dollar Tree. Now when you're putting these tumbling tower blocks together, you can either use the Dollar Tree wood glue. I've heard that it dries really fast, or you can use this fix-all adhesive, but I really wouldn't advise you to use the hot glue with these blocks. The reason is, when you put the hot glue inside the blocks and then it dries, it's like it leaves a glob that's too big and they don't fit back together properly the way that they should, and it distorts the look. So like I said, this project just takes 36 of the blocks, and I'm going to make a square here. I want you to just kind of watch how I make my square, because it's a little difficult to explain how I'm putting this together, but you can see on the screen what I do. I love doing these wood DIYs so much. I think you guys are going to love these. These are so simple that even a beginner will have no problem with these. I had a nerve block put in my shoulder just yesterday, so I kind of had to be careful and keep it light. Now, just notice whenever I put my glue down, you do have to leave it there for just a few moments. Let it get hard enough before you can even move it. And I always take a baby wipe and just kind of wipe off any of the goo that comes up in between where I just made my block. After I let it sit there for just a few minutes, it's okay to move it. And I'm going to make one more square exactly the same as the first. If you're visiting my channel for the first time, I want to welcome you. I am so glad and thankful that you stopped in to craft and just to chat and have a good time with us today. I would love if you would subscribe and become a part of our family. We always have room for more, and we always have a good time. And leave me a comment. Let me know which of these projects is your favorite. Even if you're not much for leaving comments, just leave me a heart emoji. Those things really help out my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Now we're going to move on, and we are going to glue 5 of the blocks together end to end. I swapped over to my Type Bond Quick and Thick because I was having so much of an issue with that fix-all adhesive. It's just easier for me to use a wood glue because I like the way that it sticks together, and it's like it automatically just, I can't describe it. I guess it's the thickness of it kind of helps me to keep it together better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to do 5 of these, and I could definitely tell such a difference when I started using my wood glue. It just seemed like the project went so much faster at this point. After I let these 5 sit there for just a minute, I scoot them up with my little square, and I'm going to do that again. I'm going to put 5 of them side to side and make another line just like I did. We are going to make a total of 4 of these ones that are the 5 pieces together. And since it's so repetitive, I'm not going to show you every single one that I do. I'm just going to show you when I get the sets finished. So once we get finished with the first part, this is exactly what we're going to have. We have used 28 blocks so far, and so we just have 8 more, and this project is as good as done. So the next thing we're going to do is grab one of our squares, and we are going to add 4 blocks to it, and just pay attention to how I'm putting my blocks here. I guess I would describe this as saying I'm making an extension of each of the sides. I'm not really sure. It's so hard to describe exactly what I'm doing in any way that would make sense, but you can see here what I'm doing. And this is exactly what it's going to look like once you have your 4 other little blocks added on. And once we get that finished, we are going to do the exact same thing to the other square that we've got. And now we are totally finished with all of our blocks and gluing everything. I let these set for roughly an hour so that it would set up really good before we move to the next step. Then I grabbed those 4 sets that we had made of 5 blocks, and we are going to glue these to the sides of our little squares. Now, we're not gluing these on top of the end of that square. We're actually gluing it like parallel with it. It's not going to be on top of that block. It's literally just like an extension of it. And I had already placed my sticks up just to see what this was going to look like before I did. I haven't glued them there yet. I just literally just had them standing there, as you can see, because the one just fell over. But you see, I just put my little bit of glue on the side and then place it on the end, not on top. Then, after I get all 4 of those side pieces placed on, I left it alone for approximately another hour so it would be sturdy enough to move on to the next step. The last step at putting this piece together is to flip our piece over, and then we're going to take our little square piece and we're simply going to put some glue on the sides and place it together where it comes together at the bottom. Then I gave mine roughly another hour just so that everything could set up and be really nice and secure. Our piece has been sitting and it's very nice and sturdy. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be a beautiful lantern piece. I'm going to use my Waverly Antique Wax. Now remember, my antique wax is probably about 25% of actual wax and the other 75% is water. I just prefer mine to be really watered down like that because I like a lighter look. I just like the way that that looks. It's just personal preference. But I'm simply going to go around, add this wax all over my piece, and then just kind of blend it in with a baby wipe. Depending on what method you use to glue yours together, you may not need to wait, say, an hour in between to make sure that it's really good and sturdy. And I probably went overboard with the time. I just didn't want to take any chances with a piece falling off and then me have to start all over again. I've watched people put things together with these blocks, and like if they use the Dollar Tree wood glue, they don't even stop at all. So I'm thinking that that's probably your best method of putting this on. However, I didn't have any, so I just had to make do with what I had, and that's why I use my Type Bond Quick and Thick. I went all around my piece, making sure every little nook and cranny was painted to my liking, and using my baby wipe as needed. And to style this, I'm just going to use one of these candle plates that comes from the Dollar Tree. I've used this in a previous DIY and I had spray painted it black. I'm just going to lay it in there. It fits perfectly, and I'm going to pop in my candle, and I hope you really like this one. The second DIY actually turns out to be my favorite. We're going to use this 8x8 plaque that I purchased, and I believe that I got this one at Dollar General. It's the Crafter's Closet brand, and I'm pretty sure that's Dollar General. So the first thing that I'm going to do is grab some of the jumbo popsicle sticks. These are the ones that you get from the Dollar Tree, and it's going to take 9 of those. Now, one of them I did have to slightly cut down so that they would all fit in here just perfectly. But what I'm going to do is just take my hot glue gun and place a little bit on the back of each one of these and lay these down. And it's just personal preference for me. If there's one that I do ever have to cut down, I usually stick it kind of about the third one as I go because it's not as noticeable. And by the time you're finished, you can't even tell that you had to cut that one down at all. The next thing that I'm going to do is grab my watered down Waverly Antique Wax, or you can use a darker color if you prefer. But this one is perfect for me. And I'm going to go ahead and paint the front of this and all of the sides. And then I just kind of used a baby wipe to wipe off the excess. I am going to use these gorgeous transfers that my friend Brandy creates. Her website is the DIY Struggle, and I'll leave it down below in case you want to go get some of these transfers. They're only around $8 and you get 2 sheets of them. They stick really good and I love them. My daughter was wanting something that she could just keep her jewelry in and hang her necklaces on, and that's what this is going to become. So what I did was just cut out the portions of the transfer that I want here. I wasn't going to be able to get that whole dove in there, so I just decided to cut him off. If you've never used a transfer before, they're super easy and they always make your projects gorgeous. You just cut off however much you need, and mine is going to be this whole larger piece, and you just lay it down wherever you want it on your project, and then you're simply just going to use the little tool that they send you to rub over the top of this. And my little hack is I like to kind of hold up the edge while I am going over it because it seems like it helps it to stick just that much better. I have found that if you just use your little tool that they send you and just kind of hold up the end of it, it's just so easy to come off there. And not to mention, transfers are just a gorgeous and easy way to add beauty to any DIY project. Look how beautiful. Where I didn't have anything added down at the bottom underneath where it says Choose Joy, it was driving me crazy. So I just added another little thing at the bottom, and then I kept looking and I was like, I want a dragonfly on there. So I added the dragonfly also. I picked up this knob at Hobby Lobby. Every time I go, I find knobs on clearance, and they're usually around 99 cents. They are so beautiful, and I pick up a lot of these because I like to make just little whatnot type projects. You never know when you're going to need one somewhere. So the easiest way to put this on, of course, is to use a drill bit and make a hole. I want one down at the bottom, just something that she can hang her favorite necklace on, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm usually an eyeball kind of gal, but I knew that this was 8 inches, so I just kind of measured out to where the 4 is so that I could be exactly in the middle. It's not very often when I want something to be exact, but every once in a while you might find me slipping up. So I realized that my drill bit wasn't big enough, and so I made the hole just a little bit bigger, and I just screwed that knob right in there. Now you can't get a project any easier than that. The last thing that I do is add my little hanger. I get these off of Amazon. They are really inexpensive, and you just have to bang them 1 or 2 times with either a small hammer, and I'm usually too lazy. I grab my cutters here and I bang them in, and voila. Even if you put this on crooked, your picture will hang perfectly. And if you need some of these, I put the link down below and in the comments. I hope you enjoy.
Places where you spend your time. Ain't no place I'd rather go.
You're going to need one of these wood pallets. Now, these, of course, like I said, are from the Dollar Tree. On the back, they just say wood pallet. And we're also going to use 2 of these wooden hoops. But keep in mind, you have options. It doesn't have to be these wooden hoops. You can use those metal type hoops from the Dollar Tree. There's several different types that you can use. The ones I have say wooden wreath base, and I did find them where all the metal wreath accessories are. So, let's get started. I'm going to use my gel stain by Dixie Belle. It's called Tobacco Road. Now, you can use any type of like the Waverly Antique Wax, whatever you want or whatever you have. Or you can even make up your own stain by just doing brown paint with a little bit of water. The reason why I chose to use this one is because I wanted a dark color, and this is probably the darkest stain that I do have. All I'm doing here is just applying it, and I'm using a paper towel just to kind of wipe off the excess. And I'm also going to go over my 2 hoops. Now, you'll notice that they're already dark brown, but I just lightly went over them real quick just so that my items would match up. When I went on with this next step, my hoops weren't totally dry. They're made from that MDF, and so it takes them a little bit longer to dry. Now, what you're going to do is place them side by side. You're going to stick a tie wrap or a zip tie, whichever you call it, through here, but don't pull it together tightly yet. Now, what we're going to do is take our little wood pallet and we're going to place this down on the bottom. And you need to see how far out those hoops need to go so that it will line up exactly with your little pallet board. And when you see exactly how far that is, then you can tighten this up. Now, it's all personal preference, but you may want your little pallet board to go upside down in this manner, which it looks okay, but I personally liked mine the other way. So when you find that perfect placement and you tighten up your hoops, you're going to move on to your next step, and that's going to be to grab your wood glue. And I'm just using the kind from Dollar Tree. I really do like this. I normally use the Type Bond Quick and Thick, but to me, this is just as good, and it's a lot cheaper. So what we're going to do is just put like a little bit of glue on the 4 corners, and we're going to just lay that right on the top of our little hoops. Now, on the wood pallet where we added the glue, it will barely touch those hoops. There's not a lot of space there for it to touch because the way that it lays, but it will touch. Now, just to make sure that it's extra secure, I squirted just a little bit of hot glue under each of my corners, and it was literally like a tiny little dot of hot glue, but I found that it was sufficient enough to hold it. And as you're putting your glue on here and adding your hot glue, don't worry, this thing will kind of wobble off from where you had it, and you're like, this is not going to stick. But trust me, when that wood glue dries, it will stick, and it will be plenty enough to hold it. The very last step that we're going to do is take some twine, any type that you have or whatever you prefer. I'm just using the Dollar Tree twine, and we're going to wrap it around the top. I start off by adding a little strip of glue, and then I just start wounding my twine. There's no certain way you have to do this. You can put as much or as little as you want. It's all personal preference. And I just used that little bit of glue when I started winding, and then when I was finished, I put another little strip of glue to hold it and then just cut off the excess. When I finished getting my twine around the top, I did take a lighter and burn off all the little stringies that come off of the jute twine. And I did take different video clips. One is hanging up on the porch of my craft studio, and the other one is inside on the tabletop. I love these plaques from Dollar Tree. I think that they're amazing to craft with. You can do so many things with these. I'm going to use this seed catalog. It's from IOD, and you guys know that every time I tell y'all that if you want any of the DIY paint or the IOD, and they just came out with a new collection, by the way, that I'll be showing off soon. But you get that from my friend Lori over at Milton's Daughter. I'll leave her information down below so that she's really easy to find. If you've never done a transfer before, they're so easy. You just cut out the piece that you want or what will fit in this case. Now, this is going to be decor for Loretta's house, my chicken. You guys know that I've got her house decorated, or I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I am going to show you guys, but I want to get it finished first. But if you've never done a transfer before, you just lay it down, and they send this little tool with every transfer that you buy, and you just rub it. I like to kind of hold the edge of mine up when I'm going across it, and it just makes it so much easier. Now, I'm just going to tell y'all right now that my chicken's going to love this whenever I put this on her wall, because she's going to think that this is a little girl looking at her, and she's going to sit and like peck at it and like make faces at it, and I just know she's smiling because she's the sweetest chicken ever. But guys, look how simple and easy this is. If you have a little bit hanging off the bottom, I just push mine up and it kind of goes off the side and makes it look like it's 3D. Now, this is a personal preference on these little things from Dollar Tree. I like to go ahead and run the lines through, and so I just use like my scissors and I go around on the top and the bottom of each of these little like crevices here. And there's still a small bit of like the debris left in each of the crevices, so I just take kind of a stiff little paintbrush and brush them out of there. Now, I don't know about you guys or how y'all's chickens act, but mine loves vintage decor, and she is going to be amazed at this. But I can't just leave it at that. I'll have to have something where I can hang up different things in her coop. And so what I'm going to do is just take these little cup holders. These are simple little cup holders. I'm pretty sure you can get them at Dollar Tree. And if you don't have a drill, just go back and forth like I did with my hand, kind of back and forth. Make like a slight little divot, and then you just literally screw them in. That way I can hang up her clothes on here. And yes, my chicken has clothes. She has clothes. She has leashes. She has all kinds of stuff. Guys, she's my baby. I love that girl. But I'm just going to put a little hook, one on each side of this, so that I can hang up like her favorite outfits, or who knows, I might hang up her high heels on here. You know that she's sexier than socks on a rooster. I had to throw that in there. You guys get such a kick out of when I say that. But you know what? I guess honestly here in the South, we're the only people that think that socks on a rooster are sexy. I hope you like this one. Guys, if y'all stuck with me through today's video, I just want to thank you so much for stopping and giving me your time and coming and chatting and crafting with me today. I'm so happy that every single one of y'all are here. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. We would love to have you. Also, if you did enjoy this, I would love it if you'd give me a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel here. And leave me a comment, even if it's just like a heart emoji. All those things help out my channel tremendously, and I can't thank you enough for that. Now, don't forget that my videos are every Monday and Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I'll be seeing you here on the next one, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Did you know that if you're on an iPhone or a tablet that you can just touch my face right here and subscribe to my channel? You sure can. You can also touch either of these videos that are shown here, and as soon as this one's finished in just a second, it'll take you straight to that one. I love you guys. God bless you and your families.